All right, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for coming on here. It's been a little while since we got to this point because we've been back and forth a little bit. So thank you
No
for
worries.
being patient and getting into this point. Anyway, why don't you quickly introduce to everyone who you are and why you're here?
Yep. So my name is Sabi J. I'm a Sri Lankan born Kiwi. I run a digital marketing agency, very small one, for the last 5 years. And I'm a content creator as well, sometimes actor, sometimes model.
Cool, love it. All right, so like I said to you off camera, I want to go back as far as I can to when this journey makes sense. So what came first, the being a content creator or the business?
Doing acting and modeling.
That came first.
Yep.
Cool.
Then started getting into content.
Yeah.
But I wasn't $0 in it, nothing
Yeah.
like that. Just
When did
putting up cute pictures.
acting and modeling come in?
2014. So
Okay, cool.
I
So a
started
little while ago now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so while I was at uni,
Cool.
I was acting and modeling. I started putting up
Cool.
pictures.
Yeah.
People started liking it. Then I started talking about, some social issues that
Yeah.
girls have to face, especially in my culture. There's a lot of colorism, there's a lot of racism, there's body stigma. So I started sharing that stuff.
Cool.
Started growing a little bit, and I think around from that point till about 2018, I was studying finance, so making content, trying to do modeling, and like trying to get into the industry is a hard one to get into.
100%.
And I was working for this lovely marketing guy. His name's Nick. He runs Smile Dealers. I don't know if you've ever
I've
heard
heard
of
of
it.
the name. Yeah.
So they do all the social content for a lot of events and sports
Cool.
events and stuff like that. So he gave me a good job when I graduated. I started doing all this stuff. I was like, wow, this is such a cool industry.
Yeah.
And he gave me a really good role where I got to work very closely with all the, head of sponsorship, CEOs and stuff like that when setting up the activations.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot of like hands-on experience from marketing. And there was only so much I could earn in that job. I was earning pretty good for coming out of uni. He compensated for travel, food, all of that.
Cool.
But he said at some point, you should just start your own.
Yeah. Okay.
And obviously not the same thing as him,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
something to do with marketing. And when I was working in that job, I was obviously posting all the jobs, and I was doing cool stuff with like All Blacks, ASB, Jockey, like all these cool brands, right? That you wouldn't imagine you would get to work with just out of uni, especially doing a finance degree.
Yeah.
And some of my friends who had small businesses, they would just say, hey, can you do a little bit of marketing? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll just charge you like $20 an hour.
Yeah.
I think that was just the minimum wage at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just went and did the Facebook certification
Yep.
in my spare time, started making ads for them, and then they were getting more clicks than Google.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I could do this. And they're asking, can you post on our socials and stuff like that? And then eventually I transitioned from working full-time to part-time.
Cool.
And my boss was very supportive. So I was in a lucky position.
That's great.
And then eventually started my own thing. But when I started my own thing without that stable income, that was quite hard in 2018. And up to that 2018-19, I never earned $1 from social media.
Yeah.
Like I had about maybe like 10, 15K.
Okay. Yeah,
It was a lot.
Which
but
platform?
Only on
Only
Instagram,
on Instagram,
not TikTok
That
yet.
was pre-TikTok blowing up. Right?
That was pre-TikTok.
Cool.
And I never even received a free thing.
Yeah.
I had a New Zealand following, but I think I wasn't in those circles that get
course.
PR and all that.
Yeah.
The most PR I got is if I worked at those marketing events and I might get a goodie bag or something. And I looked at all these girls and I'm like, what? They have 5K, I have 15. How am I not? Can I come? Like, how do I get in here? But I didn't know how to network or do any of those things. And then in mid 2018, then I officially registered my company.
Cool.
Left my job and started doing that. And around that 6 months, I was doing all of 2018. And beginning of 2019, I got invited as a +1 to a Huawei event.
Okay, cool.
And talked to the team, and they saw, and they're like, oh, wow, you've got a following, you're beautiful. Like, can we send you a phone?
Yeah.
And this is the first time I received anything. And it's like a $2,000 or $1,500 phone, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, what do you want? And at that time, it was a lot because it takes time to realize what your value is. And they're like, can you do 6 in-feed posts and all curated, color matching curated posts? So I actually spent like 1 week getting photographers, my friends to help me that and like editing all of this for this phone.
Yeah.
And they so loved it that they signed me up as a key opinion leader. And I did end up working with them up till last year, so it was 5 years.
Yeah, nice.
And that first one was free. And then after that, I got from then, I started getting every device and payments, and the payments got better and better and better.
Love it.
And that was the first time I got something
Yeah.
as an influencer or as a social media person. And then when that happened, I think in 2019, maybe a few brands sent me like a pair of leggings, a water bottle. These are things I didn't really need. But I was like, you know what? It's free. I'll take it. Yeah. And towards the end of 2019, I was invited to my first PR event,
Yep.
and I didn't know how they got my address, like
Yeah.
what was the thing. And this was at it was at Walker and Hall, which is quite
Oh, yeah.
bougie, right?
Cool.
And I wore this little like ratchet, like like this tiny little army shorts and like an army crop. And I took Judy, who you've met.
yeah.
She wore chandeliers with like a skirt. All the girls are walking in like red carpet dresses, and we're just there looking like we're ready for like a student night on a Wednesday. Anyways,
Funny,
the
that's
owner,
crack up.
the owner was so nice, and she
Yeah.
said, "Get in touch
Yeah.
if you ever want to do something together." I didn't know
Yeah.
what that
What that
means.
means,
I just thought, hey, she's going to give me some
Yeah.
products. I have
Yeah.
to make a post. Anyways, I got in touch, and I'd never pitched to a brand
Yeah.
before. And I just said, hey, this is what I do. I also model. I can shoot some content for your ads. I can post on my feed. I can make a vlog.
Cool.
I already had pretty good skin, and I had been using some of the Taylor skincare products for
Cool.
a few months.
Yeah.
And then she was like, cool, just let me know the pricing.
Yeah.
And then I just thought I was going to do it. Like I didn't expect payment. I was like, I'll do it. Like I was like, I just want experience.
Yeah.
And they ended up, I think overall I gave a quote. I got in my friend who's a photographer. Her name's, they're now non-binary. They're like a photographer and makeup artist.
Cool.
So I got them to the whole quote was actually their cost.
Cool.
So their cost to help me take the photos and give it to them for the ads,
Yep.
and then their cost to help me film a vlog, because I know you can do it on your phone, but I wanted to do something good.
Make it look good.
So I think I charged about $1,800,
Yep.
and all I got was like maybe $500.
Yeah.
But I went all out. I got like Judy to use her hands
Nice.
for the photos. Oh, if you could have brought it up, it would have been
Yeah,
great. Like she
yeah.
used her hands
Is
for
it
the
on your
photos.
socials?
It's on my socials. Yeah,
On Instagram?
it's on Instagram.
Connor can try to find it while we chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going. Tell the story.
So it was it's quite down.
Yeah,
It'll be a picture of me in blue, and you'll see hands next to it.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I actually got a deal. I didn't expect to get paid.
Yeah.
But I got paid, and I had to finish the work.
Yeah.
And then I got paid. And then that made me realize, like, wow, there is a chance, but how do I get into this industry? These two were flukes.
Yeah.
How do I really get into the industry? And then obviously I'm running my company as well. I've always only made money from my company or having clients.
Yeah.
And then beginning of 2020, I got signed to an agency. They approached me from seeing some photos of body hair. One of the managers saw I did this photo that went really viral. It was just like me like this, and I had like hairy armpits, but it looked nice. And I didn't know it was gonna go viral, but it got shared on like all internationally.
Crazy.
There was so many like random social pages talking about it as well. And then she said, oh, we really like all this diverse stuff that you do. We'd love to sign you. And during 2019, Huawei did send me to another agency, because there was lots of agents at all these events. But they wanted me to do fashion content. They said, we'd like you to be high fashion.
Yeah.
And my outfit right now is like $40, right? I think I own a Valentino belt. I own like, got a Dior bag. Well, but I'm not going to make a whole channel for fucking, materialistic shit when I have, I'm like, okay, cool, Dior bag, but like there's racism and colorism, and my parents came here as refugees. Like no one gives a fuck that I have a Dior bag. It just didn't feel right. So when they said that all to me, they seemed very keen, and we got to the stage where they're like, can we connect your insights to our software? And then I just didn't reply because I was like, oh, this is not right for me. Like I'm not going to ever be able to be this person for them. I have kind of become a bit more of that person now, just sharing lifestyle and beauty and fashion, but not high fashion. And I think why they suggested that was there wasn't many people of color in the high fashion sort of space. There is now, which is great.
Of course,
And so this agency, when they brought me in, they're like, we love your empowerment stuff. We want you to do more of that. You're so like full of purpose. You can do more and more. You just have to, just swear less. And, that's all they asked, right? And I was like, because, I'm the sort of person that I literally I came in the NZ Herald. It was like me holding a sign saying, fuck North Shore Karens. And then you got to kind of tame that down if you want to work with brands. So they signed me, and then I was with Gail Cohen Management for acting.
Cool.
When they signed me now, up to that point, I didn't really have many industry contacts. I think just prior to them signing me as well, another brand deal I got was for a massive campaign for Maybelline to be a model, and then I was across Farmers. So outside of those three things that I just told you, Huawei, Taylor Skincare, and this Maybelline brand, I'd not had anything. I didn't know how to connect with people. Huawei helped a little bit. The team was really lovely.
Cool.
but I didn't know how to get in. And at first they just signed me and they're like, okay, let's do some pillars. What is it? Because at that point I didn't have, it was cute fits, it was ass pics, you know. I was like, I don't do that anymore. But like, you know, there was like lots of bikini photos. There was
not a strong strategy behind it on Pillar.
Yeah, but there's no, it was a lot of just talking about social issues and stuff like that. Not political, but just things that affect women, race issues, that sort of stuff. So then they just sat and they like made this weird triangle thing and they're like, this is pillars. You could talk about diversity here. This falls into colorism and all this.
Yeah.
You can talk about this stuff here. Why don't you do a bit of lifestyle and beauty? You've got good skin. You've got, you know, you've got nice furniture, just something there. And then the last one was like, you know, just make content around like mental health and anything to do with empowerment, that sort of stuff.
Cool.
And so I had those pillars and I then wrote this content plan and I just started then was the time that I went from being like, oh, this Instagram thought or whatever, just Instagram girl, to making genuine proper content. And then we obviously went into lockdown and Judy told me about TikTok.
Yeah.
And we started all we did was just, I think if I went and scrolled up, we were sending each other like 20 videos a day each. We were in these holes. I think she started TikTok slightly after me. But we were in these holes of looking at TikTok and I was like, oh, I might make it. I watched it for like 6 months before I was like, I never thought I would get on the platform. I just enjoyed watching it. I was like, oh, I have an idea. And I had this old footage from me and Judy she took me to model for her in China Fashion Week.
Cool.
So I did a jump in my house, but then I jumped onto the Great Wall of China.
Oh, awesome.
And it was really bad transition. Like the music just didn't match with the jump. The jump was like way off from the beat. It still got like 10,000 views.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think the max views I'd had on any of my videos, because this is before Reels, was like 60,000.
Yeah.
And that was for like the mannequin challenge. I don't know if it's even in here anymore. But yeah, when that happened, I think that was the point that I started making TikToks. And within a week, I had 1K. And
nice.
it'd taken me years to get to like 25K on Instagram. So then I started, I don't know what came into me. I had less work, you know, with clients. A lot of them had paused all their marketing.
Yeah, of course.
I started selling stuff in the house and I was like, oh, I'll just make, you know, TikToks. And I just made stupid TikToks, like no sense behind them, no strategy or purpose. Whatever came up on my feed, whatever random trends there were, I just started posting. And before I knew it, I made a lot about being brown in New Zealand, or being a person of color in New Zealand, but comedy, nothing serious, no no political, social undertones. And then one of those videos was about just someone said to me, you can't call her auntie, you're not a Kiwi, because I said I love Auntie Cindy. And so I just like joked, I was like, oh, I can't call her Auntie Cindy because I'm not a Kiwi. Should I pack my bags and go back to where I came from, which is New Zealand? That's all I said. And the video just went viral and it ended up in the Daily Mail.
That's the best.
And it went on the Daily Mail, and then I think people expected me to keep doing an Indian accent and transitioning, and I didn't. You know, there's already Busky doing that; he does it really well. I was good doing it, but I was like, that's not. There's so much more that I have to. It's not that it's not the brand. I'm fine doing it, but I want to try talk about more important things or inspire women of color and stuff like that. At that point, the agency I was with, they had no TikTok strategy. So I had this following on TikTok. It wasn't transferring to Instagram. But it was just fun. I was like, hey, look, I have this audience on TikTok. And I think at the time, like maybe say I was getting 100% of a fee for Instagram. They're like, oh, she can chuck it on TikTok. Even though, and this is before stats was a thing on TikTok as well, right? She can just chuck it on TikTok for 20% of that. Even though now it's like, that's like the hugest fee, right? So this is still 2020, which is not that long ago. And at that point, towards the mid to end of year, IG came in with IG Reels, and my agency signed me up to be a content partner for IG Reels. And with that, then I started learning about the differences between the software, but also learning a lot about video content, because I didn't have knowledge on video. I had knowledge on taking hot or cute photos. Nothing to do with making good video content, but video content is about, there's a whole strategy of how to make it, which you guys already know with your you've nailed it. So when I learned that, I started doing IG Reels as well, and I completely moved away from making any in-feed content that was static. And I was like, I only really want to make videos. If a brand asks for a photo, great. If I really have an amazing thirst trap once a year, okay, I'll make one photo. You know, that's it. That's about it for static. And when I worked with Instagram as a content partner, it actually made me realize a lot about the platform.
Yeah.
How much work goes into it, how much you can learn, because they gave you all this access to all these tools, workshops,
cool.
creator spaces. And I actually found a real love for video content. And I was like, I just want to keep making videos and all sorts of videos. Like, yes, I have these niches, but I don't want to limit myself to that. If I want to go off and make some weird sus content with Usgang, I'm going to do it about, fucking him in the ass, whatever. We're going to make the video, but then I'll come back and make, make the other stuff. And then it was only really then, when at that point, that I got my first brand deal from that agency.
Yeah. What year are we in now?
That we're still 2020.
2020. So,
and it was the most amount of money I have made. It would have paid for all my acting school for 2 years, 3 years. Paid for my trips to India. And it was the most money I'd seen. And it was one day of work, and then it was for TUI. And they wanted to reuse the ads for socials. It wasn't even an act commercial. And even some of the commercial briefs I was getting from Gail Cohen was like $2,000 for 6 months usage, right? This was much, much more, much like...
A proper commercial ad fee, but it wasn't commercial ads.
But it was...
talent fee.
Proper talent fee, but like...
Which is great.
It was, and then I was like, okay, this agency is good. And at that point they'd said, hey, we can't get you much work until you start working on these pillars and show that you're a serious, you're making daily, regular content. And at that point I'd started. And I think it kind of just rolled from there. And then we're going into 2021, towards the end of the year, someone just DM'd me and was like, hey, do you want to come on this dating show? And I was like, I'm not doing anything in November. I'm single. I'll come. And then it ended up being The Bachelor. Went on The Bachelor, got kicked off very quickly. But I also didn't realize what a big deal that was. To me, I'd never watched The Bachelor. I've heard of it.
Of course.
I know The Bachelor girls because of some of when I started going into that content creator space, and I met some of The Bachelor girls doing influencer stuff. But I didn't realize it's like a big, big deal. And then, they made us hide all of it. And then the next year when it came out and it was announced, then I don't know what happened, but even with the agency I was with, they started getting so much more inquiries. I started getting invited to like all these events. Literally, I had to start an Excel sheet for all the free PR I was getting. And obviously at some point later on, you realize you don't need all that. But so I had to keep a list of all the PR coming through. It was like stuff every day. And I never seen that sort of attention before. And then when I went on the show, there was, I love the girls. The girls were great. Came off, we still thick as thieves. Still go and see them sometimes. Some of them live in Queenstown. But what I didn't like about the show, and I didn't like going on about it, is they really, when people are discussing the show online, it's all about comparing the women's looks. It's all about comparing who they think should be there, who shouldn't be there. And I think the way I was portrayed, and it's not actually what happened, was that I was talking way too much to the Bachelor. He asked me all these questions. I just sat there and answered it. To the best of my ability. Then we come off, he sends me home, and then, it cuts to just looking like I'm talking with him ever responding. And there's all these random topics. I'm like, why would I go from saying I'm a Christian to talking about my sister to talking about that? And it didn't look, but if people have brains, they know. And so when that happened, that was the first time I'd ever seen like, not anything mean. I didn't get any mean comments, but I went and read like the NZ Herald stuff, right? Or whatever. They're like, oh, she talks too much. She's so up herself. And I was like, I'm just answering the man's questions. It's not that deep, And then there was a lot of, people trying to pit the girls against each other and whatnot, or speculating that this girl doesn't like this girl. And to be honest, I personally liked everyone. If I didn't like a girl or two, we just didn't interact. Like it was no drama. Like the way they make the show look drama and these girls drama, 100%. These girls are sweet girls. And so that was when my first real limelight came out. And that was very interesting. And then that whole year, 2021, went from like being a peak for me of getting all this attention to, I think just after the show in May 2021. Sorry, am I just going please. Like fucking
I've got
yarning
lots
on?
Of questions, so just keep going. I'm gonna bring you back.
You sure?
Yeah, please give me the whole
I'm
story.
Almost done.
Give me the whole story.
Oh, we're in 2021 now.
That's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
So 2021, I had a car crash.
Oh, shit.
So I had a very bad car crash.
Okay.
And car got totaled. I hit my head quite bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize the impacts of it until the rest of the year. I had a very severe concussion.
Shit.
And head trauma.
Crazy.
And a few weeks after my car crash, and I don't know if you've had a story like this on the show. No. I went out with my friends. I'd been talking to this guy on Instagram. He was a public figure as well.
Yeah.
And we went to town and he assaulted me in a club. Yeah. And then more stuff happened. It was quite bad. This is the first time I've actually talked. People know I've been assaulted and it's on my platforms. Yeah. People don't know what happened, and I've never really gone into detail because it's still under investigation. Or there's a lot of, and you'll see why this is important later on. And so those two things happened to me, and I just didn't want to do anything. Yeah. I didn't really even want to live. You know, I was so incapacitated. I had migraines all day. I had to drop all of my clients. So at that point, I had built a client list of about 10 clients rostered on and off, right? And I had several people working as writers, graphic design, web developers, all that. I just couldn't even respond, and I wasn't in a position because I was management. I wasn't I wasn't a good enough leader at that point to know how to delegate everything. And then eventually I just had to say, look, I can't delegate. I'm trying. It's not working, because I was the backbone, right? I didn't have a second in command. Yeah. And so they all had to go to different companies, or some of them. I was very lucky. Just saying, fuck it, we don't really need marketing at the moment. Yeah. You just come back to me when you're ready, and some of them are still my clients. Cool. But that happened, and then obviously I was in bed for 6 months. The agency was still sending me brand deals. For me, when I'm very organized, right? Yeah. They send me the brief, I send an idea pitch with mood board, storyboard. Yeah. They approve it, I put a content plan together, shot list, voice layers, text overlay, all that sort of stuff. Send it back, shoot exactly to the point. I might add a bit more creativity, send it back. So I'm very organized, and suddenly I was getting information wrong. If they said this will last for 3 years, I was saying it lasts for 7. Then they'd come back and be like, hey, it lasts for 3 years. This is what's in the brief. Then I'd go write 17 and send it back. I don't know what was going on. And what went from being, usually one revision or no to 20 emails back and forth. My agency did say, you could take a break, or, you could, but I wanted to try. And during that period, I didn't post. I didn't know what to say. I had nothing to share. I rapidly lost weight. I started getting a bit more irritable online, this is a big thing, right? This is a big mistake I made, is up to that point, life had always been good. Yeah. Yes, I'd had my experiences that were to share, my parents were refugees or whatever. Yeah. But when you're going through that personal issues, that's how to navigate that while still being a creator. I didn't know how to do it. So for a whole year, I never said that I was assaulted, but it was very obvious that I was angry at men, because I was making lots of content on fuckboys, lots of content on assault and stuff like that. Not all men, obviously, but men that are, men that do these sorts of things. It's not all men, but some. And I just think there was a demise for me during that period. 2022 was just no better. Me and Judy got a house together in St. Heliers. We're like, okay, fine, this is going to be an up for us. I can help her with her business. I can work on my business. We've got a good space to shoot content. We're central. Cool. I have a room for clients to come over so I can consult. And we had all these issues with our landlord, massive amount of issues with our landlord. Went to court, hired lawyers, went on for months. We moved to another house now. So we stayed at the house for 6 months, moved out of the house, and we've stayed in this house. We've just renewed our lease as well. Similar house, very nice, same thing. But we lost at the tribunal, and somehow, I don't know how, NZ Herald got their hands on it. And they posted it, and they look, I did say, they took a lot of, I'm not going to say I behaved the best way in that situation. I was very angry at my landlord. I was very annoyed at how much money I'd put into this place. And we had so many people coming through the house. And I think there was a few heated emails in there where I did say something that it wasn't the word, it wasn't go die or anything, but I did say, I'm going to expose your post about you. Out of them saying stuff to me saying stuff back. At that point, I also didn't realize what my profile is, that you can't put stuff in writing, Ever. It wasn't the worst thing to say. It was the only thing I said, which was, I'm going to expose you online. But that was, the bolded paragraph on NZ Herald. Sorry, I just hit the mic. Right. And, they talked all this stuff about how we took our landlord to court for the pool, which it was many things, including the pool. But it made me look, for the first time, I think it made me realize, okay, now I've gone on reality TV. I have a nice house. I have a
Spoiled
following. They don't know that I, put myself through, they don't know that I was on, Wins, sharing a bed as a flatmate. They don't know any of these things because they have to scroll down to see that. What they see now is like a girl who's had plastic surgery, who's, doing these things with other girls who also look like on the outside like brats. And I think that was the first time I had like, bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad because I was still getting brand deals. My agency still put me forward for stuff. Like it wasn't an issue. Yeah. But during that time, then also the way I started posting got very different. Like I was, getting angry, saying stuff, calling out people, all this sorts of things. I wasn't in the right mindset, right? Usually if you want to call out someone, I'm someone who really believes in soft power. So I'm someone who will talk to them privately. Then when I share the story, it's a life lesson. It's not go fuck yourself, that sort of stuff. But, I was diagnosed with PTSD. I wasn't in the right headset. I should have just stopped posting, taken a break. And many times my agency has said, why don't you just take a break? I'm like, no, I can get through it. But you don't know till you come out of it, right?
Yeah, you can't see the forest from the trees, right?
Yeah, you can't. And so that happened, and that whole year, just so much drama happened, and it just unfolded and unfolded, and, ended up on Reddit and Threads and all that sort of stuff. Nothing cancelable, just, she's a drama queen, right? Did I have a part to play? Like, I posted about it, I talked about it, if I just said nothing, just left it, would have been fine. And I think towards when the NZ Herald article came out and when I came back, a few things, more drama happened, and I got shingles. I don't know if you know what shingles is, but it's very painful. I got it on my face.
Fuck.
I was in the most pain, and it's shocking that someone my age, so I'm turning 29. I just turned 29 last year. To have shingles shows that you need to have lifestyle changes. And so that was the eye-opening point for me. At that point, I left my agency, left Gail Cohen Management as well. I was like, I cannot do anything for either of you. I'm not in a good headspace. Most days I don't even want to wake up. I'm miserable. I've got PTSD. I'm angry. I need to go sort myself out. So I think that was like September, October last year, right? And I was worried. I was like, am I not going to get brand deals anymore because of all this stuff? I did wonder, will the NZ Herald article, even if it's not that bad, like I didn't do anything illegal or whatnot, it's still bad press. Will brands look at that and think, oh, Sabi's dramatic, or Sabi is not good with landlords? And at the time I did submit, Barfoot and Thompson and other property managers gave their letters of recommendation, but they post what they want to post, right? And I'm like, also, how do you think I got this house in the first place? Or how do I have a house now, right? Like, it didn't matter, right? And so I was so worried, is my career going to be over? Like, rise, fall, rise, fall, massive fall. And now we're here.
Yeah, that's it. That's crazy.
Now you're here. Now you're here to have me on and laugh at me.
I feel like I need a shot of whiskey or something after that. That journey. That was intense.
Yeah, I don't know if it was too intense.
No, it's good. It's good. I want to unpack some of it. It is a really interesting story of, I guess, for the way I sum it up is like, I've had a lot in my life too, right? And the way I look at it is like, this too shall pass, right? That saying, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, don't get used to it. Yeah. Like, this too shall pass, right? And which is a real interesting concept because, like, for a lot of young creators, you think about where you were at that peak. It's like, if you almost seem untouchable at that point and you think it can only continue to be good, all this good stuff. But like a couple of things, like a bad crash, which leads to bad decisions, which leads to saying the wrong thing, which leads to everything crumbling. Not crumbling to nothing, because you've obviously not crumbled to nothing. You've just dropped off the peak of where you were, but now you're on the back up. I feel like your
which
brand,
is a very quick turnover in my opinion. Like, I think it was your brand's insane, quick turnover.
What I love about it, what I think, one of the reasons why we tell our clients to focus on personal brand fully rather than the business. The business you can do, but like personal brand is paramount, is that if you have a platform to speak on, it doesn't matter what other people say. Like, if the New Zealand Herald tries to ever say shit about us, I literally have more eyeballs watching my brand than New Zealand Herald has.
Well, when that happened, all I had was either people laughing, like, what the fuck is this? People saying, oh, we know you're not like that. Or people saying, hey, I came to hate on your page, but I love your page and I started following you. And then there was a few, you know, boomers, go back to your country, Miss Spice and Rice, like that sort of shit. It was good. Miss Spice and Rice was good.
Racist New Zealand, eh? I told you, Dom, when you got here, bro, we're still racist, bro.
I put it in my bio for a while, like Miss Spice and Rice, because I really liked that. That's really
actually
good.
Quite good. Yeah. I actually quite like that one. Spice and Rice, that's fucked up. Whoever that was, I hope you're watching. That was so good. But no. So I wanted to first say that I think that's a good lesson for a lot of people. That, like, if you're riding a high, it can all come undone really quickly. But also, if you're in the flip side, if you're in a shit position right now, you can also turn it around just as fast.
And that's the thing. I was in a shit position. Yeah. No agencies, right? End of last year, just came out of shingles, had these bad articles, suddenly have to talk to brands myself, suddenly have to, do all these things myself. Yeah. And then a huge worry. Am I going to just like be blacklisted or shunned or something? I was obviously being dramatic. It wasn't that bad. But at the time, it feels like the worst thing. And I think for me, exactly what you said, it's at that point that I really realized the business is always going to be there. I'm good at marketing. I'm always going to have clients, even if it's just one or two. If I really work on actually building my personal brand, right? Like actually put together content pillars, hire like more consistent. Post every day, because in the last few years it was like once a week. Even when it was going good, it was like 3 times a week. Post every day, hire a publicist, get a website made, get someone to write for you, get even a private manager in the meantime if you don't want to sign to an agency. Just do all what you can to build the brand. And it's exactly what I did. Every time I felt upset about any of this, and there was a few months where I didn't have brand deals, but I don't know if it's got to do with me or if it's got to do with the market. Because at the same time, a lot of amazing creators were saying I've got 0 deals or 1 deal. So I spent that time working on my brand, working on my profile, doing things to improve. And also I had to like give myself a different mindset. I'm like, okay, moving forward, whether it's my soul, my mental health, whatever it is, for the next year, I'm going to say nothing. Even if people bring me like, someone said something racist about this thing or that thing or whatever it is, someone threw a party and there was underage girls, whatever it is, don't say anything. Stay out of it till you build your brand. And then at some point when you are strong enough and when you're not impacted, then you can find a better way to talk about these things because you can't have all of it going on at the same time. When you have, even whether it's unfair or not, if you have something dramatic come out like it did.
So in our business, what we have a lot of conversation around this in all of our training with our team is that as a concept of scar and wounds, and people get themselves into trouble when they speak from a wound as opposed to speaking from a scar. A wound, you're currently in the pain. And when you're talking about these things, you see stuff that's happening. If you don't have the headspace and the mindset to talk about it properly and be challenged on it, then you're speaking from a wound. So you should shut up. You need to heal first. When it's a scar, it's different. You've got lessons. You're talking from a place of strength at that point, and you should wear your scars proudly. But at a scar, you're no longer affected by things and people say stuff negatively because you understand where they're coming from, you understand where you're from, you're able to digest it and then deliver back a really good response. So when you get into those positions, for everyone, anyone listening and for yourself as well, like, and I think you probably already fundamentally understand this anyway, it's like, we always do this, like we keep it in our head. Is this a wound or a scar? If it's a wound, shut up. Because it's not right. And you're going to get ripped to shreds in it, and you're not going to know how to handle it. And even like the tone you use to speak about it, it's real hard because you don't get it right because you're speaking from pain. And if you can get that right, like there's like stuff like I don't mind saying whatever these days online because I don't really have a lot of wounds that I'm sitting in at the moment. And so I can have these real tough conversations about scars, but they're like tough stuff like, we've had to fire people in here. We've had tough, like, losing clients and all sorts of different shit, but they're not wounds anymore. And so now that I speak about them a lot, and because I write about them in a way that, like for LinkedIn at least, I write about them in a way where I understand where we went wrong, how we had to improve, and I always take personal responsibility for this shit because I've learned and grown from it. the responses I get are awesome. Like always great. Everyone's like, you know, like I often have people in my LinkedIn inbox just going like, fuck, thank you so much for sharing that. I needed to hear that today. Like I'm going through the same shit, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as like, let's say you had to fire someone in your team, that can be a real negative post and you could sound like an absolute asshole if you do that the wrong way. And that will happen if you speak from a wound. And then everyone will be like, you're a fucking dickhead, Stan. Like, what a wanker. Like, you should have been better, blah, blah, blah. But when I did write that post, which I was real skeptical about writing, I wasn't sure if I should.
Yeah.
But I needed to because I share everything with my LinkedIn community about our business growth. When I did that, everyone was on our side. But also on that employee side too. Like, it was real equal. Like, they're like, that's tough. It's a tough thing for both of you had to go through, but you both come out the other end. It's probably better for both parties, right? So that concept's like a real good one. It's a real good litmus test for you. Like if I'm about
and
to
I think
post
I had
this,
to live it. I had to go through that in the last year. I had to learn, you know, at the time you don't know what's the best way to handle it, or you think you're handling it the best, it's not right. So I came out, I was like, you know what, this all needs to go to the side.
Yeah.
I need to focus on the PTSD. I need to focus on my health. I need to come off meds.
Yeah.
You know, I need to find myself again.
Yeah.
And then it didn't matter that I'd been pushed down a few times, right? Everyone gets hit.
Yeah.
People do way worse stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they still have careers.
Yeah.
In the scheme of things, I was like, you know, I know I have an audience and community that really needs me.
Yeah.
Or I think they need me because they DM me and say they
yeah.
love what I do. I
Yeah.
know brands can really benefit from working with me,
Yeah.
and PR companies can really benefit from me talking about inclusivity.
Yeah.
So I have all these things I have to offer. I just need to be in a better place to go and do that.
Yeah.
And so I took the time, and the response to taking the time and then coming back has been like, you know, I don't think anyone remembers anything really.
People don't, man. You can always build back. Like we've got clients who come to us with for reputation management, right? Like they've got their reputation in the marketplace is bad.
I should have
Press
come
about
to
them.
you like July last year.
Yeah,
if
might
I
have been
knew
able to
this,
help.
if I knew this was a thing.
Yeah. And it's we're the only company in New Zealand, Australasia almost, who does this sort of stuff. It's not a big thing because people work with brands rather than people, right? That's a normal thing. There's only a couple companies in the world who do what they do, but like it's super important. And there'll be more. Personal branding's agencies are growing more and more. But we have clients who come to us, repair management, who have like, we got one particular client, which I won't talk about his stuff, but like he had some really bad press in the paper after 2008 and all the stuff that happened there. And so we've been working with him to like essentially push all that shit down on Google. So it lives on page 2, right? The best place to hide a dead body. Like no one's going to find it. All the stuff on page 1 is good. And so now like the first 3 results when you put them up is just him and the work that we've done for him. People will forget it. He's already started to be offered some like without saying what he does, like the deals that he's been offered, two deals, which will be the largest of their kind in New Zealand. You know, like that people forget real quick.
They forget, and also they have to see how serious it is.
Exactly.
You know, like, is this a big deal? Is it not? Does it matter?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Also, is the audience going to be offended if we use this person?
Exactly.
And that's why I think I've probably still consistently gotten work, but I'm sure I don't know what I haven't gotten that I was considered for and haven't gotten.
Exactly.
That's the problem. Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask actually is that 21 period to now, well, then maybe even to the end of 2022 actually, like financially, how were you moving forward? Because like things were falling away, you're having to give out clients. Like, was that a struggle financially to work through that, or were you quite good with money that you're able to push yourself through?
I have a finance degree, so I'm pretty good with money. I've been completely independent from my parents.
Cool.
And I still actually haven't taken my ACC weekly compensation for that 6 months. Even though I was eligible, I didn't take it. I think what really got me through is I had a lot of brand deals. Cool. So I was able to, I wasn't earning to grow or earning to, I don't know, save or anything. I was earning to survive.
Cool.
So I had enough of that, and I had enough, I had to stop doing monthly client work, just doing little projects. Hey, can I do, I don't know, like update your website? And it usually might take me two weeks, maybe. Now it'll take me 2 months. But do these little projects, try get through it when I don't have migraines. And that was enough to get me through it. 2021 was still a good year, like financial year 20. I don't know if you're saying, if you're talking about financial year.
Financial years, that's fine.
Financial year 2021 was great. Financial year 2022 was It was okay. Because I still, there's 6 months before, you know, there's a huge period before my accident, right? And then, last year was a joke.
Yeah.
Last year was an absolute joke. Scraped by, wiped out my savings, really. Wiped out anything I'd built or even any money I'd put away towards like growing my brand.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to have a brand anymore, if I'm going to survive. Like I might have to just go live with my parents or go stay in an institution. I don't know how long this PTSD, because, you know, PTSD, it's hard to explain, but I could wake up, little things could trigger me. I'd be upset the whole day. I'd get very angry, very upset, very anxious, like just a mess, right? I didn't know how to get out of it, and which after shingles I had to figure out. I need to just, that's my pure focus. I can't manage all these. So financially, I got through fine.
Cool.
Stayed in a nice place, ate well, lived well. But that is coming from a place of, I wouldn't say privilege. Like my parents didn't give me any money. But they probably didn't give me any money because I also went on a show in 2022 and said I was bisexual. So after that, I couldn't ask them for money anyway till they needed a time to get over it.
Fair
They're
enough.
fine with it now. But, you know, I didn't even have that.
Shock.
I just was too, like, they knew I was struggling, but I didn't want to talk to them about it. We didn't talk as much till they needed like a good 6 months to get over it, and they're over it now. But you know, I'm old enough, I didn't want a handout from my parents, so I'd say I got by, but I wasn't able to grow, I wasn't able to save, and now is the point of like starting again. But you can get through it with the brand deals, even at just selling some of the, obviously I didn't get something and then sell it straight away like PR product, but there was heaps lying around. There's lots of stuff in my wardrobe that I didn't need. Started doing furniture, and I've got like a side hustle now of like flipping furniture as well. That was a nice NZ Herald article. That was one that wasn't bad. It's like a girl flips stuff.
I love it.
And then I went to the comments waiting to say, oh, isn't that the girl who didn't pay her rent? But there was no comments about that at all, which was people forget.
People forget, man, so fast.
They're like, but does she pay tax?
Well, that's true.
Of course. I've got an accountant who keeps track of all of that.
Don't fuck with the tax man.
This is not the country to fuck with the tax man. Like you can't. So I think I got through.
Is that where this came from? The series?
That series came from seeing people around me really struggle.
Okay, interesting.
Women around me. I didn't want women to look at me and find my life aspirational. This is one day I'll get there. I wanted them to look, and I just randomly made a bougie on a budget video in 2022. Or 2021, just going to the Sugar Club, and I said, this is a bougie on a budget tip. Ended up getting like 5K likes. I was like, oh, people like deals. And so this year I really thought, you know, now that I'm going through a new phase of saving and building a life again, but I still want to have some nice things. It doesn't have to be expensive. I started that bougie on a budget series. I'm so surprised that media has been interested in it.
Oh, it's great.
Brands are now coming wanting to be in it. And it's only 11 videos. I haven't added a few more, but you know.
Can I ask, is that your saying? Like, who started Bougie on a Budget?
I said it. Nah.
Is it?
It's mine. It's copyrighted. No.
But was it?
I think it's an American.
It came from somewhere else. I wasn't sure if it came, but not saying you copied. What I'm saying is actually real clever.
There is no series.
No one else got a series.
There's no one's got a brand. I did check. No one's got a brand or anything in it. There was a couple of articles in America on very small magazines just saying how to be bougie on a budget. I don't think it was really a thing, but now people come to ask me, hey, is it okay if I say bougie on a budget? And I'm like, $1. You know,
have you done anything in ways of like solidifying it as yours? Like no URL
the
terms
the bougie on a budget. The first video I made is May. It's quite new.
No. I've watched them because I think it's like clever, really clever.
I was thinking a few things. I was thinking I'd love to pitch it to some sort of magazine or whatever that every month
get a column,
get a column of like best tips. So even I noticed like I went to look at stuff for Barbie and there was no Barbie tips on even anywhere you can drink pink drinks, right? Something. And I did a Barbie bougie on a budget as well. So like just something like that. And I did think, you know, could be a great book, could be a few great things. I would. But the thing is I just started it. And I think in terms of solidifying that as something, I would just have to figure out the logistics. Does it come under?
Go to namecheap.com. Let's see if there's domains. You should buy it. This won't go out. No one will see it. No, Namecheap.
Namecheap.
Yeah. This is going to take you to some porn website.
So you're just saying just buy the domain?
It's like $6, $12. What would you call it? BougieOnABudget.com? What would you call it?
No, that could be a full on, it could be a porn site right there.
Bobe. Just do it, spell it out in total. What it does is it gives you provenance and stuff like that. So, be fancy when it comes on. BGNabudget.cheap.
I like that.
It's registered in 2015. You should have a look in what it does. The reason why you do this and why you buy domains is it gives you a place of saying, I registered this on this date I was first.
Right.
And then that helps later on. You're not going to go straight into trademarks and shit. You're not going to pay a lawyer for trademarks and shit yet. It's too much, right? But you by getting like these things in place early that it costs peanuts. Like I mean, this one's expensive because they're selling it at $2,000.
That's bougie budget.
That's bougie budget. But like, actually, they cost like $6 to $13 a year to buy. Like, just get it, hold it, and it shows that no, I started this video series here. I bought the website. I did it with intent to make it a business. You can't come in and take the business idea. It just helps you later on.
Someone totally will.
Yeah, and they will. Yeah. And that's why I'm telling you to do this, because
I will.
It's clever. It's smart.
I'll do it tonight.
Yeah, good. It just, even if you don't do something straight away, you've got it there. You can figure it out later on. Okay, so carry on. So BGN Budget series came out, that started going. You've still got a lot of good brand deals that have kept you moving forward in terms of at least paying bills and things like that. But when did this year start to turn around for you? Because you were saying before that things are getting a bit better now. So where did that start to happen?
I think, December, January, everyone was kind of quiet.
Yeah,
and that time I took time for myself, right?
Yep.
I took time for myself, really thought about like, what do I want to do with my personal brand? What are all the different things I can do, from updating my media kit, making a website, hiring a publicist, what are all the things I want to do with my publicist, put it out into months.
Yeah.
And then I had to change my whole schedule. So like, how can I now make a schedule where I'm working for my clients, working on projects, making content, doing brand deals, and working on growing my brand? How do I suddenly fit this in every single day? And so I wrote all these things that I want to do. And I think maybe I started on it in February.
Cool.
And February onwards, it just, at that point, there wasn't much brand deals coming in. I think February it started.
Yeah.
But, December, January was so quiet for me. And I started.
For everyone.
Yeah. And so I started not just, and then at that point also I said, okay, I'm going to commit to working on videos every day. It is hard to pump out a video every day, especially if you have to shoot one day and edit whatever. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to still work 2-3 hours on making videos every day, and I need to revamp my channel.
Yep.
My Instagram engagement was like 1% because I'd barely been posting on there. My TikTok, my video views were getting like 5K video views when it was like, every video is getting 20, 30. And so I was like, how can I just come back in and make it better?
Yeah.
So I was like, the only way is to make regular content. There's no way around it. Even if you had one viral video, your overall engagement is still going to be low.
Yep.
So I started doing that, and I boosted my channel. I think my engagement's sitting on like 9% on Instagram at the moment.
Instagram. That's huge.
Yeah, from 1%, from Reels, right? In like 3 months.
Instagram's anything over 1's massive.
Yeah. And so
9 is fantastic.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I was like, okay, I really need to post more regularly on TikTok to get back on that FYP.
Yep.
And so then I did. And I did a range of content as well. Mix of what people want to see, what I want to post, which is always a balance, right? And then in between the niches. And then when that stuff started taking off, of course, more inquiries. But I'd always been scared. I hadn't done this since leaving my agency. I made my own media kit and I put together my stats and my growth and whatever it was.
Yeah.
This was in March, April. And the only people I've sent it out to so far is PR companies. So I already had a massive list of PR companies.
Yeah, cool.
Reached out to you guys as well.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, this is my stats. This is my engagement. I'd love to work with you. Here's some brands I'd like to work with. And that was received so well that then my next step was to go and reach out to all the brands I'd worked with.
Yeah.
But from just doing that, like something like that, just introducing myself, not even expecting anything, just invited to a bunch of stuff, put forward, so many quotes, all sorts of things.
Amazing. That's that side of it, like having everything prepared and ready and then sending it out, is such an easy win for young creators to have.
If they don't have the ego or the self-esteem or lack of confidence to reach out like, oh, they should come to me. No, they don't know who you are. You make yourself know.
Yeah.
People, you go make yourself seen.
And not just even being seen, but make it easy. Like having that media kit done and ready to go means that brand can just be like, cool, I don't have to think here, I know what it is. The question for the brands now become, do I use her or not? Not how do I use her? The deal was like, okay, cool. Yes, we will use you for this thing, and no, we won't use you because you don't fit there. you want to make the situation and the questions like as simple as possible for brands or clients, any clients. Like when we have, like in my sales process, we're getting the client to that piece as well. Like my whole sales process is to sell them on the onboarding piece, not to worry about what are we doing post onboarding. You kind of have a glimpse into it, but it's just like, yes or no, do you want to do onboarding? Do you want a strategy for your marketing or not? It's actually what I'm saying. Who doesn't want that? Everyone wants a strategy for their marketing. So it's like, yes, I do. And then the question is, well, is it us or is it someone else? As opposed to like, okay, how many things and how many that? It gets too complicated initially. You need someone to commit first. So that's real smart. So it's real smart that you got that. And so that's picked up now since March. It started, the ball's rolling.
Well, since then, there's all these platforms that you can join. Yep. I had to go through all my emails, DMs, everything. I've compiled like a brand list. I was like, holy crap, I've worked with a lot of brands. So a lot of brands inquired and it didn't go through. And I never nurtured them or went back to them. And even if they said, no, not this campaign, next one or whatever it is. So then I've put them together and I'm going to reach out. But these things take time,
heaps of time.
And I think not just that, I did a lot of other things as well. Like I'm working on writing a website.
Cool.
Me and my publicist put down a publicity plan, all focused on like op-ed pieces on inclusivity. So doing a lot of things to actually like build who I am and show who I am. But the biggest one, the most time consuming one, was to revamp the channels. So making daily content.
How are you planning on making that happen daily, given that you struggled to do it previously?
I struggled to do it because I had a car accident and all that, right?
Even before that?
Even before that, there was never the mindset to do it.
Cool.
There was like 3 videos, even the agencies like do 3 videos a week. To do daily, I kind of have to have like every day is either film, write, film, shoot, or edit. And I'll give myself at least 2 hours. The only days I will take a break from it is if I have a brand deal and I need that time and I, depending on how much time I have for client work as well.
Yeah.
But the goal is to eventually do this full time and maybe just consult very lightly for clients as I still love doing it. So keep doing that. But I think for me, it's every day I commit to, I've got an idea. Either I'm at the stage of I can write, shoot and edit it today, or at some point all 3 things are happening and it's done. So at least I'm pumping out 4 to 5 videos a week minimum, sometimes 7.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can we? Can you just in the background kind of have any of these videos playing? So when you think about like just any one of them, maybe not
that.
Let's go
that's
this one.
the Barbie budget.
So like,
budget one,
tell me when you do these, like, you're saying write, film, edit. Like, what is a typical like conceptualization process take for something like this for you? What's your process you work through?
Okay, so first I have my pillars and my niches, and I think in a week I want to do some bougie on a budget. I want to do some lifestyle, maybe something funny or trend, whatever it is. And there's one day that it can be whatever I want.
Yeah.
So when I've spaced out my bougie on a budget ones, a lot of these I need to book. You need to book tickets, places, restaurants, whatever it is, and I need to also find people to be in the video with me because I love collaborating and I want people in it. So I have to book people, months in advance. Like I've just booked like Kim Crossman and Brody Kane for videos and stuff like that.
Amazing.
We've already just had the chat about it, not even started writing.
Yep.
So once I've done all that, the first part is like booking the day, booking all the stuff. Then I'll write, how do I want, what will be the value for my audience? So I'll write, okay, I'm going to start by, I'm going to visit these 2 places, find the cheapest drinks. That's what that part. Then there's going to be a part of, using it, whatever. And then the beginning or end will always be what is the total price for them, what is the benefits, and any screenshots and any adding things that I can find online. Once I've done that, then I will go and shoot. So when I'm shooting, I have intention. I know exactly what shots I need to get. That also lets me live in the moment. So when I go and say do bougie on a budget, I just have to film at the beginning, film quickly in the seats, film the cocktails, phone away, go back to like living my present life because I only need X amount of footage, 90 seconds maximum. Then I'll compile it all on my phone. Go through my script again. I'll cut it down as much as I can, put the hero shots, do the intro and hook, which will be a summary of the entire video. Take all the best parts, put at the beginning, hook, put a title, and then I'll go through and edit all the pieces with the voiceover. And with that, I'll also add in like a little bit of effects. I'll go in and cut the shots in so that no one's staring at one thing for too long. Each shot is maximum a couple of seconds. Even if it's the same shot, I zoom in to it so it's quicker. think about the caption hashtags, and then I post it. So with all of that, I think the biggest process is the writing at the beginning. The shooting's like 10 minutes. And the editing can take up to 3 hours if I want the video to be really good. And I try to do it for every certain series. The Bougie on a budget, I will put a lot of effort into. The vlogs, you know, I might cut out a few of the steps. And if it's like a little trend, then fuck, that's like half an hour right there. So there is a lot of thought that goes into it.
I like it. So I was thinking about it, like, I don't know how you're thinking as we're going through that kind of like.
Do you want to put up a better one, like this one?
No. Like, it's not the style. Like, what, you know, I think that you and your friends, like these collabs that you do, you should find 4 or 5 of you who think differently in their content production, who have got better skills in each piece, and create a super team. And then that super team should go, I will do all the writing, I will do all the shots, I will do the editing or whatever, and then you all do content together, but you specialize in areas that you're the best in. Because like, I can already see you doing all of this stuff is like so time consuming because you're having to switch gears each time. You're best at one piece of it, not at all of it. You'll be good at all of it, but you're best at one piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you find the people who are better at the other bits? And how do you collab together and like have a consistent collab?
What are you saying? Like create like a separate channel?
Nah. You'll make videos for each of your channels.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like you go, guys, look, how do we churn out more content and better content? Like who's best at each of the pieces?
Like a David Dobrik squad type thing.
Exactly, right? Like who's best at each of their pieces? Like work
who's
like
the
us.
funny one? Who's the one that gets pranked? Who's
And they all have their own pieces. Someone might in your team might just be like a pro editor on Premiere Pro and can just do it on a computer and take it way faster. But then they don't want to shoot.
I think, look, this all sounds great. I'm not having doubts. No. I can do it. I want to do it. But finding people at my age, all of us have kids, husbands. They also, for them, content is just, I don't know if they'll put as much effort as I do into content, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. No. They do the photo. So finding the people.
It's finding the people.
I'll start.
It's finding the people. It's like, so you know, the difference is, it's like taking our approach. Like but I pay my guys to be my collabs.
Pays us to be his friends.
Pays us to be his friends. I have to fly him all the way from Canada so he comes hang out with me. No, but like, we're a business. It's different. But if you think about the way that we strategize, plan, produce, post-produce and everything, like the team do it collectively. When Joni, who runs our Attention Seeker TikTok, when she becomes the lone wolf that Joni is, because she is a lone wolf in the way that she works, when she does that, our TikTok flops. It goes real bad. She doesn't put much out. It goes nowhere. We get into this real dark space with it. When Joni starts to go expand her thinking and says, I need you guys to do this part. Don, you edited the last ones, right? The confession cams and stuff. Like when we all are dissecting this process together, you're better at that, you're better at this, you're better. I mean, now she's churning shit out, right? And she's able to then step up and go, what is the one video that will blow up? So we've got consistency. What we call our terminology is like fan acquisition and fan service. The fan acquisition content is the content. It's usually Joni doing the presentation stuff to me. That's our fan acquisition. Millions of views, heaps of followers, right? Yeah. And you can't do them all the time. We tried doing a lot of them, like one every week to see how it would go. And they started to deteriorate. So we knew we couldn't just keep doing that. But then we have all the fan service content, which is the deep lore of it, teaching people heaps of stuff about us. They really start to love us. They might not all follow either. They're just getting to know us. And then when you go and hit them with a big one, fuck, it goes crazy, right? Like what happened over in the last 5 days, right? It's been like 150,000 followers off one video. Yeah. But you can only do that if you built all the lore beforehand by putting out quantity. So I think you're right. I think quantity is the way. I think you should think about it. Like we have a meeting on every Friday afternoons from 3:30 to 5. It's called our 10X meeting. And the reason it's called 10X is that when you 10X what you're going to do, you have to fundamentally rethink the way you do it. You can't just incrementally fix it, right? So you going from 3 or 4 posts a week to 7 is an incremental increase. It's like, I can just do this and I'll get the burst out. But if you said to yourself, I need to put out 5 a day, like right now you'll get like anxiety and be like, what the fuck, how do I do that?
I know, but I would have to hire people. Or I would have to find other people who want to do it.
It's not even necessarily hiring. So it's easiest to get more people. But there are other ways, like, to think about it as well. Like, you break down the thinking. Like, do you watch Alex Earl? Do you watch her? Do you know who she is? No. Can you put up Alex Earl? She's my go-to. I fucking am worth so much of her. Nah, not whatever. She's fucking massive. Alex Earl in October last year was 500,000 followers. And now, where is she? 5.6.
What did she do?
You guys are the same. Lifestyle. Like,
no, but what did she do to scale?
So her way of scaling is you can see her pillars really clearly. She's got Get Ready With Me. She's got vlogs. She's got trends. She's got like fit check sort of stuff, right? She's got about 5 of them. And then she's got like Party Girl, because she's like this party girl too. She's obviously got management who have, the same as your management with your Instagram, have told her this is what you need to do, and they've helped solidify it. But actually she's been doing it from day dot as well. She's been very deliberate with her strategy. And the reason I show her is that if you go through and really watch her stuff, what she figured out is, if I am doing this one thing, like I'm going to Coachella, okay, Coachella's happening, I need 40 bits of content from Coachella, from the one thing. So she's planning way more. So she's doing her Get Ready With Me, she's doing her fit check, she's doing the vlog on the way there, the vlog there. So even her vlogs are broken up into multiple stages. She puts up 6 to 8 a day on her own. And then what happens is you get one of them blows up, she'll get 5 million. Everything around it goes up.
That's what's been happening with me.
Yeah, it's the way it always happens. Same with us.
On a smaller scale, but
yeah, but it's just because you haven't done the level of quantity that she's doing. She is like one of the best examples of this happening the right way. Where she's at now, though, I will say that she's neutralized a little bit. Her followership is somewhat stabilized around the 5.5 million, and her posts are staying there. She will have to go, if she wants to grow again, she'll have to fundamentally think of something else to go up. But where she started was this, like, I'm really clever here. She's very good at telling a story to camera when she does it Get Ready With Me. You just get hooked into these stories and you don't know why you're watching. Like, I've watched fucking me watching 2-minute long Get Ready With Me footage. I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this?
Sure, it's the story?
Mate, it is a story. There's plenty of hot chicks on fucking TikTok to watch. You know, the reason I've watched is you get sucked into the story, and that's how I first got to know her. And then there was people like Coco Loco and all these other people who started to analyze what she did, or Coco Mako, whatever her name is. And I was like, fuck. And then I started watching her. I followed her, and I was like, fuck, I can see it happening now. And this is what I always say to Joni. It's like, because Joni's target is to get up to 10 a day.
Yeah, we all know.
We all know, right? And she will get there. We've got a strategy for it. Like, and I can show you later off camera on Amelina if you really want to look at it.
Yeah,
happy to share it. It's not secret. Happy to share it. But what the idea is like, how do you make content at scale? How do you take one concept and get heaps of videos? How many videos did you get out of that one shoot, Don? Heaps of them, right? Over 10, right?
Yeah, like every question had like, there was
like 10 or 20 maybe.
Yeah.
10
like
or 20. Yeah. And it was probably like each person in the team had 10 minutes of filming. So we all jumped in this room, 10 minutes. You might have seen the confession ones we did, but like 10 minutes of filming per person. So 160 minutes. And like there's 15, 20 clips out of that. So it's like few hours of filming. And there's a concept, right, of like what we did. And that's everything. Like that's how we do all the stuff. Like even when you think the presentation video that blew up over the weekend, she did that, but while she did it, she filmed her making it, and then she put out that video yesterday. So she's already thinking like that. And then the third piece is, okay, what's the follow-up to that video, which needs to go up today, which I railroaded because I brought him in from Canada. But like she'll have that for tomorrow. So I guess what I'm saying is like when you think of these things in isolation, like, hey, we've got to do the Barbie on the Bougie. It's like, okay, here's one. This is the vlog of Barbie and Bougie on a budget for Barbie. What else can we do? Is there a trend we can do with Barbie? Is there another story I can talk about Barbie, about some interesting fact that people might not know about people of color and how Barbie brought that out, or something like, that aligns with your pillars? Is there inside there? You can already see there's like you're doing so much in the one vlog. Like you've got like 4 stories almost being told in that one vlog. Yeah. Like how do you break that up into just 4 videos? Now you've just multiplied it just by rethinking the one concept and going, how do I drop out 10 videos out of one?
Look, it is something I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's just more figuring out you know, I will never make excuses. This is something I want for myself. But hey, I just got out of all this stuff.
Yeah.
I still have to make money from between clients, and I still have to make consistent content to be considered. Then I've finally got a personal manager to start managing brand deals, which is a huge relief. No more emails, right? But how do I, with say, let's just say, what's it, easy amount for someone, even if they have a full-time job, is 2 to 3 hours a day, right? How do I either drop the quality or do I have to hire people? And I do want to hire people, but there has to be at a point where I'm earning enough that there's an extra amount of revenue that either I put away and save or I put it into growing, which I will. And at that point, do I, on top of, I just got a publicist, on top of that, can I find someone to edit in that time? The other thing is, you said, can you find other people? Do you know how hard it is in this country, especially this country? People don't want to collab. People only want to show their fucking 100%. Face on their content. They're so self-centered and self-absorbed. The fact that I'm able to even find people to collab is a big deal. And it's not common here, because when I call them like, hey, let's collab, they have no idea. I have to call them, explain this is how we're going to collab. You're going to say this and this. You're going to review from your perspective, review from my perspective. We'll take a photo together. They've not done this in New Zealand before. It's not a thing that they do. So even that aspect, I have to take the lead because they don't know how to collab. One of the few people I think I've collabed with well over the years is Usgang. We both take turns. He shoots, I edit. He'll go and take it, edit it himself, put up, or he edits, sends it to me, and I put it up. And that's worked really well. But he is dedicated, like I am.
Oh yeah,
he's dedicated to content, and for them, I have to go and find other content creators, not influencers. I need to find content creators. And I think content creators who have time, like no family, no kids, or if they do have a family and kids, and I know you've got a partner. Congratulations on getting engaged. I know everything from socials. How can they balance doing that?
Exactly. It is a real hard thing. And like, if
there's guys doing it, but it's an all boys club. Like
100%.
Yeah, that's, they only make dude content. They don't really need a girl in there anyway. So it's like,
and also if it was easy, everyone would. That's the other thing, which means that those challenges you're facing mean you have an opportunity. And that's the better way to think about it, right? Because like, if it was real easy, then you wouldn't be anything special. So actually you've got the opportunity that it is real hard. The issue is finding those people. I mean, the one thing that should be happening, which, I mean, I've been trying to have the same conversations with her. Judy needs to get her content going again. You've got a great housemate to work with her because she knows how to fucking get people to watch videos. She's brilliant when it comes to content creation. So there are people who could do it and who could support, but it's hard, right? So I get that. I'm not saying
I have helped her on her old videos, but it's also like she's just taking a break from it, you know? When she comes back, whenever she wants, I'm right there, you know? So
that's it. Like, I think that it's not about going, you're no good, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is hard. I think the thing is like, everything in life that's worthwhile is hard to go after and it takes time. And I don't think there is an instant fix.
So what do you reckon? Do I just put up a story and say, does anyone want to make videos together?
Yeah, I think it's a grind. I think it's a grind. And I think that's the problem. Like, Stansplaining as an example, we started this October last year, I first started, something like that. Yeah, October first started episodes. And it took so long to like get people to commit to come in. It was probably not until Lewis and Lisa Perez came in that then people were like, oh, okay, there are the actual people. But even then, it was a grind to like book people to come into this thing and actually do it, which is why now, like every time someone says yes, we're like, just get them in, we'll just backlog it instead, so we don't get into that position. Because the same thing happened. Like, we're getting all these creators who are just like, oh, I'm not really sure. I don't know if I want to be on it. I don't know if I want to share my story. I don't know if I'm going to make content with other people. And then you get it on here and they're like, oh, I'm struggling to make content. It's like, well, you're literally like, I was going to give you my studio.
Here's the other question I have for you, right? Cool. I'll go out and find people. I'll find people who have a love for videos. So then it doesn't matter about money. But it's also finding people who are happy to share the limelight with other people, right? So find the right people, make a squad, make videos together, or even... Right now, my thing is like, I'll make 1 or 2 videos of myself, but this week I have 3 collabs, which I think is pretty good for a week. All with, is it Terry? The foodie girl, Matakai.
Oh, yeah.
So one's with her, and then, is it Teki? Is that how you say it? Tere. There we go.
Tere, yeah.
Because it's also like an Indian word as well. So it's like, then I'm like, Terry, you know? So it goes like, gets mixed.
She's cool.
Yeah, but when I called her, I'm her first collab. So I had to call her to take her through it. And so I want to do more. So let's say we get that done. How much do you think a content creator, because someone like Mr. Beast, he puts all his money into it, right? I don't know if he's like living off like on the streets or something when he started.
He lives in a studio.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? When he started, I guess he was living with his mum. So he put all of 12. It in it. But how much do you think a creator should put, and this is probably a good question for everyone, right? You're earning brand deals. Even if it's 300 or if it's 2,000, how much of that money do you think the person should take and as a ballpark and put it towards
Great
growing
question.
and then take the rest of the money if they want to save, live on it, live within your means is what I tell. Like, yes, I could go out right
100%.
now with my next brand deal from Shark or whatever,
Yeah.
buy a Gucci belt, sure, not a Gucci belt, maybe something else, right?
Yeah.
But I've put that money towards my website,
Yeah.
like saved it towards my
100%.
website. So how much do you think creators should take and reinvest?
So if you take me as an example, because
You look like you do 100%.
I do.
Yeah.
So this year we will do probably 3.5 mil in revenue, and me and my partner are taking 96 grand out total, and 30% of that will go to tax.
Yeah. I pay myself minimal.
It
as
all
well,
goes
yeah.
back in. I hire these fuckers. I pay these guys. They get paid more than me. These two together, their salaries are worth more than mine and Claire's. Like, yeah, look, I don't.
We just add more value though.
Yeah, no, but they do. No, they do. And he's not wrong. Like, I hire these guys because they help us produce more. They help us do more. I'm trying to grow. Now, should everyone follow my lead?
Yes.
Well, yes, if you want the growth that I'm looking for, but not everyone does. Can you still grow without putting it all back in? Yeah, 100%. Plenty of businesses do. Most people look at people like me and go, fuck, like, I want to grow into that. But actually, like, I think it's 5%, maybe less, of businesses in New Zealand turn over more than $1 million. That's nothing. So you don't have to turn over $1 million to be successful.
For me, it's not about money. It's about the ability to make the sort of videos I want to make.
I agree.
And also be able to put out the messages I want to put.
Yeah.
And if I'm earning enough from a couple of brands who believe in me, I don't have to worry about being family friendly, politically correct to, be able to appeal to a wide range of brands.
Agreed.
And that's what I want.
But the reason I say about money in that concept is that, like, everyone's trying to, like, go. You asked me, how much should they reinvest, right? That was the question. Well, it depends on what they want. Most people in New Zealand, if you earned $250,000 a year, if that was your take home, you're crushing it. Like, you're in the top couple percent in the country, maybe top one in terms of income, right? And so you don't need to reinvest everything back into it for a long time. I mean, if that's all I wanted, I could have stopped in 2020 reinvesting and just like sucked it up and just kept working the way I was. But we're going for global domination. Like, we're on a whole nother journey, right? Like,
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm there, but
no, but
I
you
wanna
get
be
what I mean?
close,
So that's what I'm trying to do. Now, I don't expect everyone to do that, and I don't think everyone should, and I don't think everyone can. I think it takes a very special type of person to be able to deal with the pressure of that, because it's a lot. But where a lot of people, what happens is they'll get some money and they'll want to then, like, you don't do this because I can tell by watching your stuff, is that they'll go and buy the Gucci belt straight away when really what they should be doing is paying rent. You know what I mean? So they don't get their finances right. So Claire and I are only able to pay ourselves so little because we have so little expenses. We're smart in that the business pays for a lot of core expenses, like they pay for our phone and, all the basic shit that we have and their business expenses. So we don't have to pull all of that out. But like, so many people go in, they'll get all this money and then they'll just spend it all straight on to stuff. Whereas I spend all my money on buying time.
And shoes.
Oh, and shoes. And shoes.
well,
But not
that's
that much in the scheme of things. And all my money, my personal money, even when you think about my shoes, I've probably, I don't know, maybe have 30-something pairs of shoes, but I've been running this business for like 48 months. So it hasn't even been one pair a month. What are shoes? Like $200, $300. It's not even that much in the scheme of things, right? But that's my guilty pleasure, is like shoes and coats. I spend all my money on buying time back. So I'm hiring these guys to buy time back. I don't want to fucking edit this clip. I don't want to run my socials. I want to do my piece that I do and then let everyone else do everything else. I don't want to deal with the customers that I bring on board. I want other people to have to manage them because I want all that time back. But when you're young or you're starting out or you're fresh, you don't have that luxury sometimes. So you just have to put in the work and do it yourself. But yeah, every dollar that you bring in, if you're wanting to grow fast, you need to take as little as possible out for yourself and put it back in. And what you're doing is, like you said, I don't necessarily need lots of money. I just want to make great videos. Well, the way I try to look at it is just flip the script on it. It's like, yeah, I want to make great videos. To do that, I need the best people around me. To have the best people around me, I need money. And so, yes, I do need money.
I mean, when I said that,
I
I
know
don't
what
need
you
a lot
mean.
of money for my lifestyle.
I know exactly what you mean. And I just want to get
and
that
that's the
clarity.
thing. I think
Yeah.
people look at a lot of content creators, especially me saying spoiled, right? I think this is the first. I bought this for the podcast, by the way. $20.
Nice.
It's the first piece of clothing I've
Yeah.
bought in 6 months,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I get all collabs for nails, Rodney Wayne,
Yep.
ambassadorship for hair,
Cool.
skin, everything. All that's one of
Yeah.
the great things about being a content creator is
Yeah.
you can maximize your sponsorships to minimize your expenses
Yeah.
as well. Some of them are really valuable.
100%.
To as a woman especially to like makeup, beauty, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So for me, in the end, all it is really paying rent, bills,
Yep.
and most of the other things is like subscriptions to like Tailwind, Squarespace, all that sort of stuff is the main expenses. For food, I eat minimal,
Yep.
and then no takeouts and
Yep.
just coffees if I go out, and if I want to have a special dinner, I can. But what I've started doing is doing it for Bougie on a budget.
Yeah, love it.
So I take someone for that.
Perfect.
So also
So you're making content out of it.
making
out of the
content
expense.
out of it.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
it becomes a business expense.
it becomes yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it is. So I think more the thing is people, especially in this country, to think like you,
Mm.
they do really struggle to. Even I do. Is like, yes, I had a lot of staff before.
Yeah.
After my accident, it was very hard, and it was very hard for me to then
Yeah.
also have to pay out of pocket because I couldn't finish projects.
Yep.
So I had to pause the projects. They went to someone else. They hadn't paid for the project, so I had to pay all the stuff out of my own personal money. Fine, it happens.
That's what-
but
yeah.
it's the fear of hiring someone that feels like a burden, right? So how did you manage to? I think
Hire
how do
people.
I get out of that set of like, yes, even if I hire for someone 5 hours a week or 10 hours.
There's lots of ways to hire people. You don't have to hire them full time and salaried and stuff like that. There's Upwork, there's people for hire, there's freelancers, there's people who will come and do work to build their portfolio. There's all sorts of different things that you can ways of hiring. I suppose what you have to do is you got a finance background, so you've got the idea is that you need to be able to forecast. You have to be able to forecast. You have to understand, how do I sell and how fast can I sell? And if I really go out and sell, what can I bring in? And also, how can I keep money coming in each month? Like, how can I get things on retainer or ongoing sponsorship deals? Build a cash flow forecast and just understand. Like, I know where our cash flow will be from a forecasted perspective, which gives me the confidence to go out and hire, because I'm like, I know where we'll be. I know that I can afford that. Has also got 2 or 3 months before it could be a problem if I don't do a certain thing. And I know what I can do in 2 or 3 months from a sales perspective. So there's some confidence in that. You know how to sell, or you know what your sales looks like. You know the cadence of which you can bring in more money. And you also know where that cash is going. Yeah, right? And most people suck at that bit. Most people suck at cash flow forecasting. That the fact that you got a finance background means you probably can do that better than most.
I do forecast monthly, but it's also I'm aware that I'm only taking enough money or accepting enough work for my forecast. I don't go above, but if I went above, then I could add, because I managed to forecast and then add a publicist. Then now I have a manager who will take whatever percentage. Then the next one for me is, and that's the next question I had for you. And it's all questions for you now.
Please, I love it.
As a content creator, what is the natural steps of who they should hire? So I know first would be an agent is the best one, depending on your following, right? To bring in more work, but to actually scale the work and grow even more, who would be the next person? And then I would say if you've got a public profile, then publicist is pretty good to keep growing it. But for the day-to-day work, who is the next person they should hire? The VA, social media assistant?
It's a hard one because I wouldn't say a publicist was first. However,
that was second for me.
Or second, I would say that for you, potentially publicist might be the right move given the history of where your brands come out of, and you know, the TV show and stuff and newspapers. However, these days publicists are becoming less and less relevant because you're your own publicist, because you have your own brand.
Yeah, I get so much articles, just DMs. Yeah,
that's it. So I don't want to say you shouldn't have publicists because I don't want to put them out of work.
No.
It's just, but like
this is for everyone else.
Yeah, for everyone else. I don't necessarily think a publicist. I think that you should definitely have a brand manager who helps you navigate your emails if you don't want to have to deal with that, for sure. If that's not where you're way inclined. If you're a creator, first and foremost, that's the thing you're best at, then figure out which part of the content creation you're best at and hire all the people you're not best at. So if it's editing, find some dude who can edit this super fast for you at a low cost, you know, and just start there. And even if what you do with them is they give you working files or whatever it might be, you might, I don't know, it depends on how you edit. But like these days, even on phone, on like iPads, for instance, you can use DaVinci Resolve and things like that, and they can send you working files and all sorts of shit. So you can clean it up your end and then put the finesse on and publish. But I would be going in and hiring creatives first to help you produce more because it's top of funnel. Your whole business model is determined on how much you can put out. And so the easiest way for you to scale your business is put more out. And the easiest way to do that is have people around you who can help you do that, which is what we do. My goal is to have as many people in this team who can help us create more and do more, which means the top of funnel's better, which means everything else at the bottom will come and work its way out. And then so I'm in a battle now of top of funnel and operations. And so it's a very different thing for me. Whereas you in your business model, if you move away from the digital marketing side of stuff and you focus more on you as a brand and whatever, your operations is the content creation, right? So you only have one team to battle with, which is like, what creatives do I need to help me? You don't have to hire them full time. You can find some dude on Upwork for like $7 to $15 an hour who can do the type of editing you need him to do or she do, and just find them and brief them really well. Take some money. Like you've got to test them. Like Connor just hired a guy off there recently for some stuff that we need to do. Yeah, on Upwork. And he went through a few, but this guy, he trialed him for a few bits and he's like, cool, okay, Stan. And I said, give him a 2-week trial. So he's paying him full time for 60 hours over 2 weeks. Give him some stuff. If he delivers it, then we'll put him on a full-time contract and we'll just run with it. But he's like $7 an hour. $7 an hour. I mean, it's pretty low level editing what he's doing. It's not vlog style stuff. Like you probably
That's
couldn't
still
do that.
very low level editing. There's no special effects or anything.
You can get people doing this kind of stuff for well under 10
Yeah, well under $10 an hour.
USD. But yeah,
Yeah,
And
USD.
what,
Sorry,
you just like upload all the footage and give a brief and that's it.
just get a OneDrive drop
do
or
it
a
however you want.
Dropbox or whatever, easy, and give them a brief. And if you've got a whole bunch of videos as reference material, they know how to edit. They'll just go, oh, okay, cool, that's the thing. I'll do this.
Or hire through TikTok.
Yeah, yeah, you're too
You get
expensive, bro.
hired. Do you hire him through TikTok?
Yeah, he came off one of our biggest videos. Yeah, we
Nice.
hired him through. It's been a crazy ride of how we found Don. Look, in terms, we're going to wrap up because I've got a meeting that started 4 minutes ago.
Oops.
This one
Yeah.
went over. That's okay. It's fine. But what we should do is off camera. We should show you through some of how we strategize stuff. I could probably get Joni to show you through a few things on how to make content at scale. With your strategy, no matter what strategy is, you need more content. So you need to figure out ways to do that better. And
We'll
and,
start
and,
there,
and
yeah.
don't do it with buying people just yet. Maybe editor, maybe. It depends on, I don't know you well enough to know what part of the creative process
It's
you need the
editing
most
that I
help with.
struggle the most, yeah.
So then that's probably what you need.
Just the time.
Cool. Well, let's wrap up.
Yep.
We'll have another conversation. But thanks so
Okay.
much for sharing your story.
No,
it was a
thank
bit of a
you.
whirlwind for me because I didn't realize as much of it. So that's great.
Also, you're the
It's
first
awesome.
person I've
Thank
talked
you.
to about NZ Herald. Multiple people have asked for opinion on it.
Yeah.
Never given an opinion. And I've also never given
Oh, the inside
anything
scoop.
about my essay. So you've got exclusive.
We got an exclusive scoop there.
Yeah.
Cut that one up,
This
Don.
was- this felt a bit safer there.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.